Welcome back to Link Cable and T-Fortress 2.
We're still playing this game.
We have a different, I don't know, skew on this episode. I'm going to play at least the entire episode as a demo night because
I can't because I don't have a demo night
well,
here.
For me, I'm doing that because I don't know, just whatever. I'm having fun with this right now.
Because I'm bad and mad.
Indeed. Oh god. I do have the Islander.
Get at me, demo night. Get at me.
So I've gotten 4 kills on this right now, and the speed is pretty ridiculous already.
Fucking...
I just was able to outrun. I don't know if you guys saw that. I was able to outrun like a few people
yeah,
who were attacking me.
me.
Yeah, well. Oh god.
Coward.
Okay, there's my team. So
I don't know if I really trust this guy. I feel like I ran into him for... Yeah. Oh.
but anyway, we're doing this, or I'm doing this just primarily because I usually play just kind of, whatever range class.
You get the hell away.
I have a lot of fun just playing regular melee classes. There's melee loadouts sometimes.
It is pretty fun. I have to admit...
It can be very challenging, but it's just also very rewarding.
The whole loadout I have on my soldier right now is completely based around the time that I got the katana. I was just dicking around with it, and going out of my way to use nothing but it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we were doing at the end of the last episode, and I thought that was pretty fun, so I figured I would just keep doing it.
It's just that, like, with soldier, it's actually not that great of an idea, because soldier is slower than most of the other classes, and as a result, pretty much everybody can just look at you and go, ha! I can keep you at range.
You don't even have to be a scout to kite a soldier that effectively, so...
Yeah, no, I mean, like, every class other than heavy is faster than soldier, and then heavy can just look at you with a minigun, and has enough health.
Pretty much.
That unless you catch them really unawares, it might not even really help. Fuck you, get out of here.
I see you, I ain't done with you yet.
Sweet Jesus. Yeah, well now I've got a healer, so you can go fuck yourself.
Oh god. Yeah, there's a lot of you. Whoa!
Our last control point is being captured.
Yeah! Supporting my team like a good soldier should. Well,
I have to say, I'm having a good amount of fun with the Islander so far. I mean, it takes a while to get the steam going. Obviously, you have to get 3 or 4 kills before you really...
Wait, are you using the Islander? I thought you were using the katana.
I was using the katana, I just decided to use a Islander instead for right now.
Okay.
It's still demo night build, but just something else.
Hey Joe.
So,
Guess who has more points than you?
I only want to look at the board.
You shouldn't. Because I have more points than you.
Do you? That's...
I did when I said that I had more points than you. No, I still have more points than you.
It's fine. I hope you're happy with yourself.
I'm pretty content. I'd say that overall, I'm feeling good. Oh, by the way, this is entirely unrelated in pretty much every sense. I started watching The Walking Dead recently.
Oh, yeah?
Originally had no interest in the show. You get over here. You get over here.
Yeah. How much have you watched of it so far, though?
I have watched the first 2 seasons.
Okay, so you're pretty much where I was.
Yeah, I mean, unless you watched the 3rd season off of Netflix.
I watched, like half of season 3.
Where'd you watch it? Did you watch it on television or something?
Netflix has the first 2 seasons, and I'd rather not say publicly where I got 3rd seasons, but...
Okay.
yeah, it was pretty good up until, I think, the 3rd season. I mean, like, there's a lot more going on. Like, I know a lot of people felt the 2nd season was kind of slow. but
Really?
I actually really enjoyed it.
It has a pretty good arc, I thought. And see, what's funny, part of the reason I brought it up is because I originally expected that I would hate The Walking Dead, and like I have seriously not even touched that show until like just now, because I thought it was going to be terrible.
Yeah, no, I see how it's easy to think that. That's what I thought.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I kind of have that feeling about pretty much every like large mainstream kind of high budget television series.
Yeah, because I don't know, like the thing is with those types of shows, they can be pretty interesting. Like even like I wasn't interested immediately in it, but once you start watching it, you're kind of hooked on it more or less.
Yeah.
Then you like just watch a big bulk on it, or just a big bulk of episodes at once, which is
oh yeah, I watched seriously the like entire first 2 seasons in one sitting.
Yeah, it pretty much like that.
Like I started watching them at something like 4 in the morning, and I finished like later that day.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's Sam and I kind of did something similar. I mean, like we watched a lot of the first season at once, and then we watched pretty much all of the second season at once. And it wasn't until the third season, though, that I kind of came out of my initial Walking Dead high, I guess you could say. Like, I was really into the concept, really into the characters and everything, but, you know, in the back of your head, I mean, I don't know if it's just, if this happens with you or how many people, but for me, I kind of, like, as soon as I start to see the formula of the show, like, as soon as I start to see, like, how they deal with, like, characters and, you know, what they're going to do, I mean, like, stuff is still surprising to you, like, they still have good twists and all that, but, like, just, like, the kind of show formula starts to get on your nerves a little bit.
How so? Like, in regards to...
Like, mostly in, like, I just feel like there was this interesting image I saw online which kind of summarizes it perfectly, but, like, it basically broke down every episode into, like, the first second is, like, really interesting, like, get you hooked onto the episode, because it's, like, dealing with something in the past, or something that happened, like, directly after the apocalypse, and then the first bit of the episode is kind of slow, not much happens, and then, like, it's mostly just the character drama. It's not really so much, they don't always, like, feature prominently, like, a lot of zombies, necessarily. It's just kind of, like, character politics, a lot of time.
You get the hell away from me!
No, there's a turret there. Yeah, it's just kind of like, it's hard to explain. Like, I haven't watched the show in a while, but, like, I kind of just got annoyed a little bit at, like, how the characters were working, and, like, it's kind of, it's more prominent in the third season, which I won't spoil for you, but
yeah,
just kind of like the new characters they set up. It's just kind of like, is this person going to be another person that seems okay at first, and then turns out to be totally horrible? It's like, oh, yep, they were. Kind of those things. It's just, it just almost feels a little too by the books. I don't know.
I mean, I can kind of understand, like, your thought process in that regards, because it does have a very clear kind of initial hook,
basically,
followed by...
Yeah, like the novelty, I guess, is what I meant to say. Like, the novelty kind of wears off with the show, for me. After 2 seasons.
I mean, like, I can see why you would feel that way. I didn't really... I noticed, like, the formula that you were talking about, but I didn't really feel like it was especially detrimental, primarily on the grounds that I feel like I noticed that kind of formula in pretty much every show, in the sense that, like, you really can't mix it up too much.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like, you know, specific to The Walking Dead. I kind of feel it the same way with Game of Thrones, which, like, a lot of people are really interested in, but, like, I feel isn't, like, they kind of really hook you early in, but then I'm kind of questioning a lot of the times later on, like in seasons 2 and 3, I'm like, why am I watching this? Like, I feel like what I was initially interested in the show isn't what I'm interested in now, or it's not being fulfilled now, or, you know, expanded on in any way that I personally find enjoying enjoyable.
The tits.
Yeah, it's just I don't know, something about it, really.
Tits. Well, if you would stop watching for the tits, Joe.
It's not tits. Tell me. I know.
Although I mean that is a
tits,
really big draw to Game of Thrones is that at least the TV series of it is like sex and violence. The TV show,
basically. And it's also one of those things where like Game of Thrones is like I know some people like that about dark fantasy or low fantasy, whatever you want to call it. It's that it has a lot of those things. It's like everything seems hopeless. It's bleak. It's its atmosphere really, and it does it really well. But sometimes you need some comedy to offset that, or just something that isn't quite so bad. Because like it's hard for me to get attached to any character in Game of Thrones now because of the nature of that show and that fiction.
Yeah. Well, I kind of felt that way just from reading the books.
Yeah.
Or, well, I didn't really read the books in plural. I read the beginning of the first book and was like, nah, it's not for me.
Mm-hmm. Which is fine. I mean, it is like that for some people. But I just never felt like I know the characters are interesting. I thought they were interesting, but then I just never felt like they were given any... Some of them weren't given as much of a sporting chance as others, I guess, to really have a satisfying arc, or it just took too long, or like the magic wasn't really there, like it was kind of hinted at, but it was really rare.
Although on the flip side, I feel like that's part of the thing that works in the favor of The Walking Dead, just as a counterexample. Because I mean, when I first started watching The Walking Dead, my favorite character was Glenn.
Yeah, me too. Well, yeah, for the most part, yeah.
And like for the first 5 episodes, I was like, if he dies this early on, I'm just gonna quit. I will quit here and now, and just not continue on.
Yeah, I thought that for a few of the characters. I mean, I know Daryl, the characters Daryl and Merle, I think, were not in the comic. They were created solely for the show.
I thought Merle was. I know Daryl wasn't.
Daryl wasn't, yeah, but I don't know about Merle then. I never read the comics. Like, I read the first issue, I thought it was okay, but
yeah.
I liked the show better, and of course, I only watched the show because of the game, which I really enjoyed. Still,
I actually really want to play the game now.
Yeah, no,
I wanted to play it before.
The game is really good.
But,
yeah,
I just got... Fuck you.
Oh god, oh god.
Guess who has more points than you?
I'm gonna say that every time.
I just have to put you in your place, man. This has been a really uneventful map so far.
That's true. They're kind of just bottlenecked at one point.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, with I felt that way with a lot of characters about The Walking Dead, and they kind of have the same problem. Is that the only person you know is not going to die is Rick, because that's the show's from his point of view.
Yeah. I have kind of liked it so far. I don't know. To be completely honest, I have less complaints with the show than I really expected that I would have.
Mm-hmm. It's just it's like it's one of those things. Like I said, for me, first 2 seasons, great. Like no complaints. Didn't even think anything bad about it, for the most part. But then season 3 just came by, and I was like, still happening. So still, it just kind of like wore off for me quickly. Like
I wonder if I'll feel the same way.
You might. It's just, it's very different from the way season 2 worked. You'll see what I mean.
I guess I've sort of liked having a very particular arc in television. I don't normally watch shows like that. I usually kind of watch... I don't know if you're familiar with Eureka.
Yeah, no, I watched that one episode with you because I knew you were watching it.
Yeah. So stuff like that kind of has like more variety. Or well, not more variety, but it's kind of based around being pretty loose at not having like a very specific story arc.
Mm-hmm.
And then just like a bunch of comedy stuff, because I mostly watch comedy because I like to watch television when I'm eating food.
Yeah.
And comedy works because then I don't have to like commit.
Yeah.
To a lot of stuff.
Yeah, like I really enjoy watching Psych because it's like a good blend of comedy and good plot structure.
I really like Psych too, but sometimes that show has just like this pervasive feel of awkwardness, and I just feel like I have to stop watching it because I've had like my fill of awkwardness for the
Yeah.
day.
I know I was like just complaining about a show kind of following a formula, whereas Psych is like the prime example of a show that kind of follows the exact same formula every
Oh
single
yeah,
episode.
it's like a mystery show. That's
Yeah.
what they do.
But like the way they like kind of go from like, okay, this person dies in the opening, then the credits or the opening credits, and then they come to the police station, like Sean's dad gives them the job, and then they do it, and it's like it's the same kind of dynamic with the characters and everything for every episode. Like from every Psych episode I've seen, it's the same thing, but for whatever reason,
If you want a formula, you should watch NCIS.
now I realize those types of shows like CSI, I mean, and all that like that. What the hell? Okay, that was weird. Those types of shows, yeah, I know that's like kind of how they do it, but for Psych, I just felt like it worked because it's just more lighthearted. Like there's a good variety of like the drama, tension, and characters or comedy. Whereas The Walking Dead is like, I know I'm gonna feel stressed when I watch this. Or Game of Thrones is like, I may like the plot, but I'm also gonna feel very stressed when I watch this, and
Yeah.
it's just, I don't know. I need something else from it.
I don't know though. I like. There's just something about it that I got really into,
Sure.
and so I watched all of it in one go.
It's
and now I'm
definitely
totally
it's
more-
written in such a way that it keeps you watching. Like they know how to keep you watching, which is
Yeah.
fine, and that's
Well, and I mean they begin episodes with a hook to get
Yeah.
you to watch the episode.
and they end
so-
with one too, and that's kind of all you have to do. I feel like with dramatic television these days is that as long as you have a dramatic opening and ending, people will
Yeah.
still tune in, no matter how much filler is in the middle bits.
And I mean that's kind of how you write a paper. Aside from the fact that you usually don't end a paper with "and wait for my sequel."
That would be pretty funny.
Thesis number 2, because I don't plan to graduate.
Like you're writing a paper on some topic or subject, like, say for instance, Mozart. And he's like, and then Mozart opened the door. To be continued.
But I mean, like, for the most part, it sort of makes sense that you begin your story with that obvious hook.
Mhm.
And then since it is a series, you want to end with a hook to keep people watching,
Yeah.
and keep people interested. And I mean, it's basically all about just like getting.
That's the nature of entertainment, though. I mean, it's not even just like TV shows necessarily. Like books do this all the time with their chapters and all that. Like they always end. Hopefully, they don't end it in a cheap way, but they end it in a way that wants you to keep, that makes you want to keep reading. But like,
And I mean,
that's just kind of like the nature of it, I guess.
it would be less problematic if there weren't commercials, I think, because I feel like part of the need to do that is like for the hook in the beginning, for example,
Mhm.
they have to keep people watching beyond the intro and the first commercial
Yeah.
sequence.
I don't know what the typical. I'm sure they like study this all the time, like typical drop-off rates for audience and audience retention and everything. Like I know you need to do that.
Oh
to
yeah,
keep
I mean,
people watching.
considering our own statistics on the drop-off rates of viewership, which I mean, I know it's not a direct comparison.
But it kind of is like at the same time. Like
Yeah.
it's also
Yeah,
applicable.
And you have, and this is true for more established YouTubers, but you have a pretty significant drop-off rate early on.
Yeah.
And so it's important to get that initial hook through the commercials. And I feel like that's probably really obvious to anybody who does this kind of shit for like a living.
Yeah.
Or studies it.
Some people are probably like, "Oh boy, you have no idea," kind of thing. Because we're generally new at this. But yeah. I mean, there's really nothing wrong with establishing a hook early on and in the end. But I guess one other thing that I disliked about Game of Thrones, despite how interesting it seemed early on, was that like as the show progressed, they keep introducing more characters, which seems almost kind of weird considering how many people die. But they kind of like introduce more along like at the same rate they introduce, or there's the same rate of character introduction as character deaths, and
Really?
yeah, it's like the cast kind of changes like a lot, which is like I mean it's fine, but
Yeah,
um,
and my understanding is that that is, well, obviously that's intentional to a certain degree, but I mean,
yeah,
like, the idea is that it's like a political scenario and
yes,
not just like straight up fantasy, and therefore having expendable characters is kind of important to the plot.
definitely. So, but the thing is, and this also happens in The Walking Dead, by the way. But my point was going to be that for the Game of Thrones, the longer it goes on, there's the more like subplots because you have all these characters who kind of group up and do their own thing, and they kind of go off in different directions. And I realize the books are written in such a way it's like told from multiple characters' points of view. But in the show, it kind
Game of
of
Thrones or Walking Dead?
oh, Game of Thrones. Sorry.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, for Game of Thrones in the show, the way they deal with this now is that they kind of have multiple story threads going at the same time, and thus every episode will start off with these pair of people, and then in 10 minutes it'll switch to another pair of people, and then it'll just kind of keep going like that. So you're kind of interested in each one, but like it moves at a snail's pace relatively because you feel like almost nothing is happening between each episodes, even if they are like technically moving along in their
Yeah,
each journey. It's just kind of happening
that's
like one little bit at a time.
that's actually the kind of thing that's always, to a certain degree, gotten under my skin in actual writing as well,
Hmm.
because then you end up with chapters that are, pretty long, and then you wind up with these story arcs that end up taking forever simply because you'll have one chapter following this group, and then the next chapter will be a completely different group, and then you'll have to wait
Hmm.
for quite some time before you get back to that story arc that you were keenly following.
Yes, exactly.
Um,
I
and I
hate that.
understand that that's part of the point, but like some some franchises and some IPs take that to such a degree that it's just so frustrating because they have so many different groups to follow.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. Like I understand it as like a literary tool to go between different groups, but at the same time, like it's way easy to abuse and like
Hmm.
use too much.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, and the each little chapter
I
also
can't high
has.
five you. I don't have that.
You can do it.
Oh wait. Oh
You
yeah,
don't
I
need
guess I
you don't
can.
need the item. But you know the opening hook, ending hook kind of thing, like that happens with each of those chapters as well, and each
Yeah.
of those story arcs as well. So it's just kind of like I don't know. People have their own formulas for constructing stories, but some of them I just find a little tiresome after a while, even if
Yeah.
I initially really enjoy them.
And, do you watch any anime at all?
Yeah. What did I just watch? I watched like the a large anime I just watched in its entirety is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, but there was another one I feel like it just I watched Samurai Champloo again.
I really need to watch through that. Is the entirety of that on
Netflix.
Netflix? I
Yeah.
know some of it's on.
Yeah, the whole series is on Netflix. And it's
Oh,
a very
that's
short series, so it's easy to watch, like you know,
yeah.
in a short
I've been
span.
meaning to watch that for a while.
It's one of my favorite animes just because it's got such a distinct style, but it's also a very good story.
Yeah.
Um, Hold on, just gotta kill this spy.
Um,
No, it's just it's really constructed well. Like the animation's really good, the story and like the writing and everything is really good. Um, I've always enjoyed it, and that's like one of those things where it doesn't need like 100 episodes like some animes to tell a good story.
yeah.
It's short and
Well,
sweet.
because I mean, the problem that seems to happen is that you get the series like Bleach and Naruto, which don't. Well, and I guess Dragon Ball Z too, where originally there's meant to be an arc and it's meant to end, but then they just do so well that they keep tacking on extra arcs.
Yeah,
Whoa, Jesus Christ.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Dragon Ball Z, I definitely know what you mean.
Because like Dragon Ball is quite good, and
Yeah.
it ended basically. And Dragon Ball Z originally was pretty good as well, but then you started getting affected by this series needs to end.
Mm-hmm. And then there was G2, which is pretty much just continuation of that.
Yeah. But not all of them are that way. Because, like, have you watched Eureka 7?
I have not seen that yet. Is that a popular or well-known?
It's fairly popular. And
I guess well received. I guess I meant to say, but yeah.
Oh yeah. And like, it's easily one of the best shows I've watched. The only problem is that stuff like anime is hard to find on the internet to actually watch.
Mm-hmm.
Originally, Eureka 7, well, not originally, but for a while there, Eureka 7, I'm not a spy, by the way.
That's good. I was wondering that.
Yeah. Originally, Eureka 7 was on Hulu for a little bit, and that's where I was watching it.
Oh, okay.
I got something like 28 episodes in. I got like halfway through, or something like that. And then they took it off of Hulu completely. It's just no longer on Hulu.
Yeah.
Which is total bullshit.
I've heard a lot of bad things about Hulu. Like, the fact that you could pay to use the service, Hulu Plus or whatever, and yet it would still give you ads or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that kind of seems scummy.
The fact that they will basically remove content like that makes it seem totally not worth using.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even a little bit. But, I don't know. So anyway, point is, that show is great. Everything about it is great, and you should watch it, because it's great.
How long is it?
Episode-wise?
Yeah.
I think it's something like...
Is it under 100?
Yes.
Okay.
It is definitely under 100.
That's good. Cause,
I think it's anywhere in the neighborhood of 40 to 50, might be a little bit lower, but I'm not entirely certain.
The thing I really liked about Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood was that it was a self-contained story told in about 60 episodes. I realized the first series of that, which I have not watched all the way through, I've only watched a little bit, because I know the Brotherhood is technically the correct, or at least accurate, telling of it, because it's...
To the manga.
To the manga, yeah, because the manga ended, and so did the show.
Yeah.
And it followed that pretty well, so I only watched Brotherhood, it was very good, like, I really enjoyed it. And the thing I liked the most about it was that it was very self-contained. It didn't have to go on. Didn't feel like... Nothing felt filler, really.
Yeah.
It was just... I don't know. Like, I just prefer animes like that, even though... As much as I love Dragon Ball Z, I just generally prefer animes like that know when to end.
And that's actually part of the reason why, for a really long time, I had been of the mindset that reading manga is generally superior.
I could see that.
However, I do like watching animated things. It is nice to have things set to music. It's like a really simple thing, but it's cool. However, it's also really annoying when they add a shit ton of filler, like in the case of Bleach.
They had like a whole filler season, didn't they?
Oh yeah. They have filler arcs, which is fucking bullshit.
I heard that for Full Metal Panic also. Sam watches that, and she told me there was essentially the equivalent of just multiple filler arcs.
Yeah.
Which I never understood that.
Unfortunately, standard fare for a lot of different types of anime.
Man, I can't. I just can't. I can't put up with that, really. Like, I stopped watching Naruto. Like, I watched the first season of that, and then I felt there was a while of just filler, and then I just stopped because I just got so bored I couldn't continue, no matter how interesting it originally was.
There was a time where I was actually really into Naruto. As stupid as it may be to admit it, because I know people look down on it a lot, I used to really, really like it.
Yeah, I mean, I heard that initial hate, but, like, I never understood why exactly it had that.
Well, when it was I think a lot of the hate happened when it was dubbed to English, and as a result, kind of lost a lot of the things that made it slightly more mature in the like manga version. Because like in the manga version, you have people getting totally fucked up, and getting cut up. Like one dude gets his arms just straight up blown off his body, and in the anime, they just have little bloody spots on them and nothing more.
Wow, that's kind of the case because I know it was on Toonami or whatever.
Yeah, and they did stuff like, so Naruto has this particular grammatical speech in the Japanese version, or just it's like a way of speaking in Japanese. It's just a certain type of grammar, and they translated it to him saying "believe it" in English.
Right, and that was like his motto, more or less.
Shitty catchphrase.
And what was it actually?
It wasn't really anything.
Was it like just, "fuck all ninjas"?
No, it wasn't even really a catchphrase. It was just like a manner of speech.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't know how to explain it, but that was the general idea. Yeah, screw you, bro. Wait, did I kill you? Oh, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. I got Alibaba's wee booties.
Oh, sweet. See, now you can be almost a Demo Knight.
I need a shield, though. I wish you had a spare shield that you could send me. Because that would be helpful and beneficial to me.
People constantly wanting to trade with me and not telling me exactly what for. It's probably okay. It's not for the earbuds. That's surprising.
Really? Yeah. You want to trade for that?
Yeah, they're all about that. But no, he wants my. Oh, he wants a spiral salad. That's easy to get.
That is super easy to get. It is a very nice looking item, though. I will admit. Alibaba's wee booties. Let's do this, bro. I win. I win. You don't even. I don't think you even really have to play Spiral Knights, do you? You just basically have to like load the game up once.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I just told him that. He was trying to trade me though.
Ah, kill his sentry gun. Screw you, bro. Well,
why are you on blue? And what are you doing?
I got auto balanced over to blue.
Man, fuck you. Oh god.
We're gonna lose a lot though.
So this episode is more like a podcast.
It's gonna be super long.
Sorry, but like I didn't want to end it because we were talking about stuff that I thought was interesting.
On this episode of TF2 podcast...
Can we just use TF2 as a format for podcast now? Like, it's just like a pretty easy game to use like autopilot on, more or less.
That's really actually what we were discussing earlier. Fuck you, bro.
Oh, that was you.
That's actually what we were discussing.
Alright.
To begin with, not necessarily with TF2, but the idea that we had, or at least I had originally, was...
Right.
That we would play like an easy to play game that doesn't have like a story or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then just talk. Call it a podcast.
Sure.
Much. Because I mean it works, man.
It does. I always like podcasting.
And this is the Television Yo episode.
This is true.
Oh, I just got wrecked.
Oh, someone's asking. Sorry, I think someone was asking about the buds anyway. By the way, what are earbuds? Yeah.
I'm surprised that he doesn't know.
Yeah, I guess
like the form of currency.
he might be kind of new. I mean, that's whatevs.
It's weird that they became like the de facto form of currency.
You know what's really interesting? I heard this on Giant Bomb not too long ago. Steam is now kind of going into like this experimental, like trading card-esque system.
Yeah. I got the beta for that actually.
Really? Is that
Yes.
something you can invite people to? Because I was kind of interested in seeing it.
I do have a beta invite to that I can send you.
All right. Yes. I don't know. They were just talking about it. I thought it was kind of interesting because TF2 is always going to be like the guinea pig for that type of thing.
Yeah.
And
Well, the way it seems to work is basically when you get a game, you get things called card drops. And with TF2, you can get extra card drops if you spend money in their shop. But by default, when you get a game, you get a certain amount of card drops. And card drops they're random chances to get cards as you play those games. So just by playing TF2, I could be getting cards.
mm-hmm.
And then you get experience on your profile, and you have like a Steam level, which you can level up by getting experience. And I don't really know if it goes toward anything, but
It's just kind of like a cosmetic thing, I think. And I think at the max level is 5 for each card, or whatever.
The max level what?
The max level for each thing was like 5 or something. I might be thinking of something else.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Well, never mind then.
But,
Carry on.
it seems pretty interesting so far. I mean, it basically just seems kind of like it's not like a game or anything, it's like trading cards in the sense of, like, baseball cards.
Yeah. They pretty much said it was just gamifying Steam in a way.
Yeah.
And people are trading keys, I think. Keys are like the currency.
Screw you, bro.
Yeah, whatevs.
Do this.
Don't try and stop me.
I'll
God,
kill the
engineer's gonna...
Let me kill that engineer.
Oh, he got you first.
Fucking pain his cupcake. At least you got killed.
I did not, actually.
Oh, it looked like you had. Maybe it was just a team member of mine that looked kind of like you.
Well...
Such a forgetful face.
Man, that hurts.
You're welcome. I just gotta keep you in place.
Sure.
These teams really need to be scrambled, man.
You're right. Or you should just join us.
That's too easy. And then we'd steamroll even more, which is just no fun.
That's true. Wonder if I can switch over to you. Yeah, going
maybe.
red. I'll help. Still using Demo Man. I mean, not doing bad. 25 kills, 10 deaths. For pure Demo Man night action.
20 kills, 12 deaths,
Yeah.
5 assists, 4 destruction, 2 captures, penis cupcake. So this is definitely going to be quite the episode here.
It's quite a mammoth of an episode. I might instead upload this tomorrow. Because with TF2 you don't really need to...
You might want to check that you have hard drive space, actually.
Fuck. Yeah, that's a good point. A good, fair point you have there. But,
Because, we might want to end it kind of dependent on your hard drive space.
Fraps is, I might be recording this at half size, but, I mean, Fraps is quite a behemoth.
Yeah, Fraps... I understand why, but Fraps does not have especially good, compression. I was recording New Vegas earlier today, and I can only record, like, 3 episodes of New Vegas before my, external hard drive was full.
You know, on that note, maybe we should just end this soon, considering we just ended this match.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Well, that sounds fair. And it's been a pretty long episode, so...
It's been quite enough TF2 anyway. But hopefully somebody out there listened to the whole thing.
Listen to us talk about TV shows.
Yeah, seriously, the whole time. But, yeah. Alright, well, hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you next time on Link Cable.